Here we go again. This is week 5 of Live Large, and a few minutes with Luch here, and that would be me. I'm really, this has been a real, actually, when I've always taught that if inspiration doesn't, if what you're teaching doesn't inspire you, then don't teach it. And what I've been finding over the last few weeks as we go through this stuff is it's making me do my sweat, do my road work, as we talked about last week. Today we just sort of want to talk about breaking out of a rut, the whole area of determination, and how to break. Sometimes we lose our determination, our focus, and part of it is because we get into a rut. And it's easy to get stuck in a rut at work, in your work routine, in your workout routine at home. One of the things where Vince has helped me, I know I probably don't look it, I don't look like my son, but I do work out. I try to work out 6 days a week, do a variety of things. But one thing that Vince has helped me with is don't get stuck in a rut. Change things up. If you start to repeat yourself, you got to change it, especially if you're not seeing progress. And that's where we are today. Will Rogers used to say, even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. Even if you're on the right track, you'll get run over if you just sit there. What does it take to get you moving? I think there's 3 common motivators, things that'll get us, that'll jar us into reality. One is pain. Pain motivates us to change. Often it's not seeing the light that gets us going, but feeling the heat. You delay the dentist appointment until the pain is unbearable. I can attest to that. I just had to get a root canal done. It was so bad that the first dentist had to abort because my root canal was so bad. So they had to actually do it at another. He still charged me, that guy did. But then I had to do it again, and it cost me $1,500, but they put me right out. But you know, you delay the dentist appointment until the pain gets unbearable. So I should have probably taken care of it sooner. Pressure is another thing that motivates us towards getting out of a rut. When the doc says you need to lose 50 pounds or die, or the boss says improve performance or you're going to be fired. The problem with pressure as a motivator, though, is that it doesn't last. And when the pressure subsides, so does your motivation. A better way to bring us into change is what I get us out of a rut is perspective, having a better perspective. Over the last 5 weeks, we've been trying to give a new perspective about how to become the very best version of ourselves by applying some of the Olympic-like commitments of desire, what do you want, of dedication, what are you dreaming for, what are you going after, and discipline, doing your road work. And today we're talking a little bit about determination, hanging in there, not quitting, and not using excuses. We'll talk about that in a minute. When you see the big picture, or when you're inspired by a challenging vision or purpose, you realize that, hey, I am wasting my potential. You see this athlete, you see this musician, you see this person, a friend who's going forward with their lives, and you think, hey, I'm falling back. I'm losing ground here. And so hopefully that motivates you. You know, there's an ancient scripture that says if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. We'll put that up on the screen for you. If you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never get anything done. So here's a few steps to break out of a rut. Number 1, and you've heard this before, but I'm going to milk it a little bit. Assume responsibility for your own life. Refuse to be either an excuser who rationalizes failure, or an accuser who blames others, or a chooser. Be a chooser who chooses to break out of a rut. I'd like to flesh those out just a little bit more. Accusers are people who love to blame others for everything. They are self-proclaimed victims. All their problems are caused by others. Their favorite phrase is, it's all your fault. And these people are pros at passing the bucks. They're experts at dodging responsibility. Unfortunately, our idea is moving further and further away from personal responsibility. So people who do take responsibility for their lives are an endangered species. So be one of those. Then the excusers. They don't blame others, but they have an excuse for everything. They can justify any mistake, every failure, any kind of lack of responsibility. Their favorite phrase is, well, that's just the way I am. You ever said that? That's just the way I am. And so they excuse themselves all the time. Ben Franklin put it this way: people who are good at making excuses are seldom good at anything else. We don't want to be like that, do we? And then there's choosers. Choosers are the winners in life. They accept responsibility for both their successes and their failures. Even if their failures weren't their own fault, they accept it. They take care of the shadow that they carry around, and they know they can't control everything that happens, but they can and do control their responses to life. And so assume responsibility for your own life. Then believe that you can change. Stop saying I can't and start saying I can. Start exercising the I can muscle. Number 3, clarify what you really want. We've already said this a lot over the last few weeks, but I'm just saying it again. Now it's time to write something down specifically. Get yourself a Moleskine or a cheaper workbook that you can write stuff in, or on your iPad or whatever. But start writing some things down in the area of physical, financial, spiritual, emotional, relational. And 4, don't wait for ideal circumstances. Stop saying when things settle down. Do it now. One of these days is really none of these days. So I encourage you. And before we quit, let me give you Luch's 10 commandments. Luch's 10 commandments. The first one is, people say, it'll never fly. It's worth a try, is what I say. People say, it won't work. I say, we'll make it work. Number 3, it's never been done before. We have the opportunity to be the first. Number 4, what if we fail? Yeah, but what if we fail to try? You see how you can rearrange it? Number 5, we don't have the money. We don't have the money. You know what? Money flows to great ideas. 6, we don't have the time. We can reevaluate our priorities is a better attitude. Number 7, we don't have the expertise. You know what? All leaders are learners. Leaders never stop learning. Number 8, it's been tried before. Oh yeah? Well, there's always room to improve. We're wiser now. How about this? 9, there's so many problems with it. Yeah, but think of the possibilities. 10, it's not working out. Well, you know what? Determination says, let's try it one more time from a different angle. And to quote a biblical writer, maybe you've heard this before, a guy named Paul said, I can do all things. And then he added this little piece, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I want to offer you that this week, that you would go out there with a can-do attitude. See you next time.